Hello grade 10 students and welcome back to another lesson under language in literature. Now at the beginning of this video, I showed you pictures of soldiers and their families. So as you may notice, they were hugging, their faces do they look sad or do they look happy? They look sad. They look sad because maybe, or most probably, they are bidding their last goodbyes. Wow, last goodbye. They are giving their farewell to their family because they're going into a war, a battle. That's the most heart-wrenching part for the family of a soldier, to bid goodbye to their loved ones and not being sure whether they will be able to see him or her again after the battle or after the war, or maybe that is the last hug, the last kiss, and the last I love yous that they can give to each other. Now those pictures of soldiers can also relate to a story that we are going to discuss today, or we are going to tackle today. And as you can see there below, it's entitled Hector's Farewell. Now, do you know who is Hector? He is a Trojan hero. And in this book from Iliad, this is from book 6 of Iliad, we will be placed in that situation when Hector bid farewell to his wife and son. So before going into that, we will have these 3 words. Spry. So spry also means active. Next one, sprint. Sprint is run. When you run fast in a dash, he went into a sprint, just like that. And the last one is juris. Juris is a threat. So with juris, with threat, just like that. Let's go into the characters. The first one, of course, is Hector, our hero or main character. He was well known for his courage and noble nature. He was a Trojan prince and a great fighter. Next one is Hector's wife, Andromache. She is one of the most devoted and loyal wives in history. She was an incredibly loving wife. There was nothing she loved more than her husband except for her son, Astyanax. So this is Astyanax, Hector and Andromache together with their son, Astyanax or Scamandrius. These pictures were taken from the movie Troy. So later on, I will also show you different pictures or depictions of faces of Hector and Andromache. Now let us begin. In this reading, we will be determining whether Hector can truly be called a hero. And if you are put in the place of Andromache, are you convinced of the reason that Hector will be giving Andromache, or would you still stop Hector from going to the battlefield? Let's go. Hector's Farewell from Iliad Book 6, lines 388 to 528. And Hector turned and left. He came to his house, but did not find white-armed Andromache there. She had taken the child and robed attendant and stood on the tower, lamenting and weeping, his blameless wife. When Hector didn't find her inside, he paused on his way out and called to the servants. Now with this, Hector went to his house, not finding Andromache. So he was looking for Andromache. And Andromache Obviously, she left together with Astyanax. So upon knowing that, she was already crying, she was really sad, and when Hector was not able to find Andromache, he called the servants. He paused on his way out and called to the servants, "Can any of you women tell me exactly where Andromache went when she left the house? To one of my sisters, or one of my brother's wives, or to the temple of Athena, along with the other Trojan women to beseech the dread goddess?" Then the spry old housekeeper answered him, "Hector, if you want the exact truth, she didn't go to any of your sisters or any of your brother's wives, or to the temple of Athena along with the other Trojan women to beseech the dread goddess. She went to Ilion's great tower, because she heard the Trojans were pressed and the Greeks were strong. She ran off to the wall like a mad woman, and the nurse went with her carrying the child." So upon knowing that Troy may be the underdog for this battle, Andromache, sad and weeping, went to Ilion's great tower together with a nurse, or we can also call it a maid or a yaya, carrying Astyanax. Thus the housekeeper, but Hector was gone, retracing his steps through the stone and tile streets of the great city until he came to the western gate. He was passing through it onto the plain when his wife came running up to him. His beautiful wife, Andromache, a gracious woman, daughter of great E10. E10, who lived in the forest of Placus and ruled the Cilicians from Thebes under Placus. His daughter was wed to bronze-helmeted Hector. She came up to him now, and the nurse with her held to her bosom their baby boy, Hector's beloved son, beautiful as starlight, whom Hector had named Scamandrius, but everyone else called Astyanax, lord of the city. For Hector alone could save Ilion now. He looked at his son and smiled in silence. Andromache stood close to him, shedding tears, clinging to his arm as she spoke these words. "Possessed is what you are, Hector. Your courage is going to kill you, and you have no feeling left for your little boy or for me, the luckless woman who will soon be your widow. It won't be long before the whole Greek army swarms and kills you. And when they do, it will be better for me to sink into the earth. When I lose you, Hector, there will be nothing left, no one to turn to, only pain. My father and mother are dead. Achilles killed my father when he destroyed our city, Thebes with its high gates, but had too much respect to despoil his body. He burned it instead with all his armor and heaped up a barrow. And the spirit women came down from the mountain, daughters of the storm god, and planted elm trees around it. I had 7 brothers once in that great house. All 7 went down to Hades on a single day, cut down by Achilles in one blinding sprint through their shambling cattle and silver sheep. Mother, who was queen in the forest of Placus, he took back as prisoner with all her possessions, then released her for a fortune in ransom. She died in our house, shot by Artemis's arrows. Hector, you are my father, You are my mother. You are my brother and my blossoming husband. But show some pity and stay here by the tower. Don't make your child an orphan, your wife a widow. Station your men here by the fig tree, where the city is weakest, because the wall can be scaled 3 times. Their elite have tried on attack here. Rallying around Ajax or glorious Idomeneus or Atreus, sons or mighty Diomedes, whether someone on the prophecy told them, or they are driven here by something in their heart. And great Hector, helmet shining, answered her, Yes, Andromache, I worry about all this myself. But my shame before the Trojans and their wives, with their long robes trailing, would be too terrible if I hung back from the battle like a coward. And my heart won't let me. I have learned to be one of the best to fight in Troy's first ranks, defending my father's honor and my own. Deep in my heart I know too well, there will come a day when holy Ilion will perish, and Priam and the people under Priam's ash spear. But the pain I will feel for the Trojans then, for Hecuba herself and for Priam king, for my many fine brothers who will have by then fallen in the dust behind enemy lines. All the pain is nothing to what I will feel for you when some bronze-armored Greek leads you away in tears on your first day of slavery, and you will work some other woman's loom in Argos or carry water from a Spartan spring, all against your will, under great duress. And someone seeing you crying will say, This is the wife of Hector, the best of all the Trojans when they fought around Ilion. Someday, someone will say that, renewing your pain at having lost such a man to fight off the day of your enslavement. But may I be dead, and the earth heaped up above me, before I hear you cry as you are dragged away. With these words, resplendent Hector reached for his child, who shrank back screaming into his nurse's bosom, terrified of his father's bronze-encased face and the horsehair plume he saw nodding down from the helmet's crest. This forced a laugh from his father and mother, and Hector removed the helmet from his head and set it on the ground, all shimmering with light. Then he kissed his dear son and swung him up gently, and said a prayer to Zeus and all the other immortals. Zeus and all gods, grant that this, my son, become as I am, foremost among Trojans, brave and strong, and ruling Ilion with might. And may men say he is far better than his father, when he returns from war bearing bloody spoils, having killed his man, and may his mother rejoice. And he put his son in the arms of his wife, and she enfolded him in her fragrant bosom. Laughing through her tears, Hector pitied her and stroked her with his hand and said to her, You worry too much about me, Andromache. No one is going to send me to Hades before my time, and no one has ever escaped his fate, rich or poor, coward or hero. Once born into this world, go back to the house now and take care of your work, the loom and the shuttle, and tell the servants to get on with their jobs. War is the work of men, of all the Trojan men, and mine especially. With these words, Hector picked up his plumed helmet, and his wife went back home. Turning around often, her cheeks flowered with tears. When she came to the house of man-slaying Hector, she found a throng of servants inside, and raised among these women the ritual lament. And so they mourned for Hector in his house, although he was still alive, for they did not think he would ever come back from the war or escape the murderous hands of the Greeks. Now, based on the conversation of Andromache and Hector, Andromache does not want Hector to go into battle because she has no one left. Her father died, her mother also died, and all her brothers being killed by Achilles and Artemis. Now, she does not want to be a widow. She does not want her son to be fatherless, because she's already assuming that once Hector stepped out of their house and go into battle, he will never come back alive. For Hector, he wants to fight that battle, not just because he wants to defend Troy, but because he wants to keep that honor of being that strong man fighting for Troy, the honor also of his father. Now he said, time will come that, Ilion or Troy will perish. But though it will come, still he fought for it. The time that Ilion will be enslaved, then Andromache will also be enslaved, but they will be seeing Andromache as the wife of this great hero, this great man, Hector. So that's the reason of Hector fighting for Troy or Ilion, and also keeping that honor of his father and his own honor. Now, Andromache was left with no choice. And of course, Hector also prayed for the gods, prayed for his son to the gods. And now, as you can see, in the last lines, Andromache and the other servants were already having the ritual of lamenting, already accepting that Hector will never come back alive. Now, as a further evaluation of your understanding with this story, I would like you to answer, after reading, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, create. Write this in a one whole sheet of paper, answers only. Thank you so much for listening and watching this video. This has been Teacher Del. Bye!